Hello everyone, as with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP, and I gotta start with this. This is huge. For the first time in 30 years, central banks now hold more gold than U.S. treasuries. Do you understand what comes next? Like I've been saying this entire time, there is no war or race to hold Bitcoin. The central banks are stockpiling gold because we are going to see gold-backed currencies popping up very soon. And this is the same reason I always told you that XRP does not need to be backed by gold, because it's going to be moving the value of gold. And it's not just because of gold-backed money. It's also because of this. Mike Higgins has revealed that institutions can now trade gold and silver on Ripple Prime. Ripple Prime, Ripple's institutional prime brokerage platform, has expanded its integration with the decentralized exchange Hyperliquid to include on-chain perpetual contracts for traditional commodities. According to Ripple Prime CEO, the update adds support for HIP-3 symbols. This will unlock support for access to decentralized derivatives tied to gold, silver, and oil. You know, I remember a time when people said XRP is going to be moving the value of oil. It's going to be moving the value of silver and gold and other precious metals. And back then, people were like, how is that going to happen? Well, now you're about to see it happen. And it's like everything we always thought was just conspiracy theory, or you had to have some sort of vision to see it happening in the future. It's all coming together right now in real time. And that's why I keep urging people to not rush to sell their XRP into US dollars. Jake Claver has doubled down on a bet. XRP to hit $750 by the end of 2026. Round 2 of the Jake versus Scams challenge is on, with 5,000 XRP on the line. Will this prediction come true this time? Honestly, I think Jake's prediction probably has a 70-30 chance. I think there's a good chance XRP could reach $750, but here's how it has to happen. Number one, we need clarity. That has to happen first. That brings on all the institutions. That brings them into this space. And they're going to bring a lot of value into this space as well, a lot of money. And then we need to see tokenization start to happen. But I think we would also need scarcity to happen, because I think tokenization, it's going to be great for XRP and a lot of other networks. But by the time we get enough value on chain to get XRP to $750, I think it would happen sometime in 2027. Now, by the end of this year, where do I think XRP goes? Most likely, we will see 3 digits. I don't know for sure, though, if we're going to see high 3 digits. We have to see how things start to play out over the coming weeks. Kevin O'Leary says, you only need to own Bitcoin and Ethereum. Take a listen to this.
You need to own Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you capture 98% of the entire crypto market. You don't need anything else. All the rest is poo-poo. So the poo-poo coins collapsed. I mean, it was brutal. Some of them went down 80, 90%, and they're never coming back because they're poo-poo coins. They have no reason to exist. And there's nobody going to save them. And they have no marketing money to go get the ticker that Ethereum gets every day on every cable network in the world that looks at business. And Bitcoin's Bitcoin. So that's very sobering. People lost a ton of money that they're never going to get back on the poo-poo scale. So if you're going to get exposure to crypto, avoid poo-poo and just simply buy the two that matter. That's what I did. So I sold 27 positions, gone, put it into USDC, which, is giving me yield of 3.9%, and just bought more Ethereum and Bitcoin. And now it's a very interesting time. Those things have been.
Take notice to what Kevin O'Leary just said. You have to have marketing money for Ethereum and Bitcoin as well. You have to get it out there on the mainstream media. Now, he's not calling XRP a poo-poo coin. He's talking about meme coins, and I believe he's 100% right. A lot of these meme coins, they ended up being rug pulls, and they started as rug pulls. Most of the meme coins, they're all hyped up, and then all of a sudden, they go to zero. However, I still believe Kevin O'Leary is wrong. I can't believe he's still looking at just Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's so many better cryptocurrencies out there now. It's not like it was 4 years ago or even 2 years ago. Things are changing very fast now, and everything's going to be about utility very soon. And I think a lot of people, you're going to see grown men crying all over X when Bitcoin loses the #1 spot. But it's going to happen to Ethereum first. XRP is going to flip Ethereum. Then it's going to go on to flip Bitcoin. And then, and only then, will these people finally be forced to admit they were wrong about Bitcoin and Ethereum. XRP out of the gate was built to be a better Bitcoin. Senator Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat from Massachusetts, criticized the proposed rule, saying it would expose retirement plans to risky assets at a time when prices are falling and cracks are emerging. The U.S. paves the way for private assets to be included in 401k retirement plans. She's complaining about crypto still. Will she ever just give up already? Crypto isn't going anywhere. It's not like her anti-crypto army won. They lost in the end. Now crypto is coming together with the current financial system. Everything is already transitioning into a new financial system. I would agree that maybe she's right when it comes to Bitcoin tied to retirement plans, because you really don't know what's going to happen with Bitcoin going forward. But if you get these solid cryptocurrencies like XRP, XLM, XDC, and so on tied to retirement plans, they're going to have a great return on investment, because these are the cryptocurrencies that were built to be part of the new financial system. News on the Clarity Act. Senate consultations scheduled for April. Coinbase fights to preserve $1.35 billion in revenue. So are we going to see the Clarity Act passed by May? Because that's now the new timeline. As long as Coinbase keeps fighting this, it's going to keep getting stalled out, keep getting delayed. And it's all about money for Coinbase. They don't care about the retail investor. They don't care about anything else but themselves. And that's why they're holding back the Clarity Act right now. But something needs to get put in place in the United States, or we're going to start to really fall behind when it comes to innovation. We're going to see more crypto companies fold up shop in the U.S. and move to another country. We're going to start to see that happen again. And Gilberti just said what nobody in crypto wants to admit. Clarity Act won't make things happen fast. Take a listen.
You telling me that neither side is happy means there probably is a deal. That's the mark of a really good deal on a complicated subject like this. So that gives me hope. And what we're going to see is once the act is passed, what I'm told is there's going to be about 12 months of rulemaking, and that's the tricky part. Once the regulators step in, it's different than a law. Regulations are different than laws. Laws get passed, and then the regulations get written. And so there'll be a lot that happens. Clarity is not going to make things happen quickly, but it will make things happen. People need to understand that.
So he's saying it could take up to 12 months after the Clarity Act gets passed to get regulations put in place. But I thought Atkins was already working on that at the SEC, and I thought the CFTC was also working on that ahead of the Clarity Act. So what is it? And I believe the Clarity Act, day one, is really not going to move the needle. I think it's going to take a few weeks, and then things are going to really start to recover. But it also depends on how fast the SEC and CFTC give that green light fully. But I think there's so many institutions that are so eager to get into this space that they might not wait for all the regulations to be put in place. Maybe they only have to see a few things and they feel comfortable and start going all in. But I do believe he's right. It's not going to be a day one event. Sweet Jesus, Mother Mary of Bethlehem. You see what Smoke says. Yes, Swift will use XRP. Vet says, for those tagging me, I said they are not using XRP, while Smoke says they will use XRP. One is about the present, the other is about the future. So what he's telling you is they're not using XRP right now, and they're talking about Swift using XRP. He is, however, saying they will use it in the future. I think Swift is going to use XRP indirectly early on, but then I think they're going to start using XRP directly. In other words, all those banks that Ripple's already working with, already partnered with, they're going to bring XRP into those transactions. That's what I mean by indirectly. Later, they'll be using it directly on their own. 21 Shares just filed its annual 10-K for its XRP ETF. Net assets grew from $209.3 million to $247.7 million in 2025. That's $3.8 million, 3.8 new shares issued with zero redemptions. Institutions are accumulating and not selling XRP. So this is those ETFs where they actually have to hold XRP. And you see, there was no shares redeemed. So that's a big deal because that shows you that they're buying and not selling. And I think we're going to see more of that as time goes on. Like I always said, when you're a retail investor, you got to think like an institutional investor. If the price goes down today, oh well, you either just do nothing or you buy that dip. When the price goes up, you just sit there and watch it continue to climb up. You don't get caught up in the news, in the noise, and all the people dropping all this news. Oh, look at the top's coming in. The top's coming in. You don't want to fall into that because there's going to be so many people calling the top once the breakout starts. Every time there's a pullback, that's going to be when the top comes in, only to see the price go higher. Think like an institutional investor. You have to have zero emotions in this space. Accounting firm Deloitte verifies Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin is fully backed by $1.57 billion in liquid reserves against 1.49 billion units as of February 27th. So it looks like Ripple's RLUSD is not just fully backed, but it's overbacked. And that's what I've been saying. Ripple can pass an audit. USDT cannot pass an audit. Tether doesn't want to have any audits. It's easier for them to pivot and launch a whole new coin for the US market. And that's what they did. That's why I still believe at some point RLUSD is going to be the number one stable coin. It's just a matter of time. And XRP will also be the #1 cryptocurrency. It's already on the path for that to happen. I'm telling you, once it starts going live in between these banks, that network effect is going to happen, and all of a sudden, everybody's going to be talking about XRP. And they don't need a marketing team to do it. The mainstream media news is not going to be able to not talk about XRP when that breakout comes. And until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.